Hey everyone, I'm Griffin, and today I'll be taking you through my highly requested guide to the Virtual Tech, or the V1 Tech for short. This tech was discovered by Virtual Reality, or V1, hence the name, and you can watch him use this tech to its fullest potential over on his YouTube channel, or on his Twitch channel at Virtual Reality. So, the Virtual Tech is essentially a more time-efficient version of the Hug Tech, as it cuts down on the time needed to bring yourself back to the object or wall after bumping into it. In my personal opinion, this is definitely one of Blight's most useful tricks, and it can essentially remove a survivor's ability to react to your power at most loops and completely throw them off. So in this video, I'll attempt to break down this tech as much as I possibly can while providing some extra tips and tricks to mastering this extremely fun tech just a little bit faster. So without further delay, let's get into this guide. For your standard V1, you need to keep two things in mind. First is to give a slight bit of angle in the opposite direction you're trying to rush to. This is to ensure we're going to end up where we want to be after pressing the power button, depending on the object used. Second, make sure the object you're bumping off of isn't too low to the ground so that you don't just slide right off of this. Examples of this would be the snow piles in Ormond, or the rubble piles in the Shattered Square. You'll want to get as close as possible to the object, and then angle your camera opposite to the direction you want to move in. Once in the right spot, you tap your S key to move back very slightly, and then press your power button twice. Once to burn the first token, and then once to glide off the object to hit the survivor. The best spots to use the standard V1 is at filler loops, short wall jungle gyms, lane loops, and most general clutter you'll find scattered around the map. The Walk-Up V1 is a great all-purpose tool that can be used at most, if not all, loops to gain a massive advantage over the survivors. It essentially removes their ability to react to your power's activation, making for some easy and clean hits. It's performed by approaching any object with reliable collision, and pressing your power button exactly one S key's worth of distance away from the object. However, pressing the power button too early will result in the bump failing, and applying the normal collision kickback.
No, unacceptable!
The direction you travel in can be altered based on where you place your camera during the slam, and can be further controlled by pulling the Blight in the opposite direction your camera is facing in using either the A or D key. This version of the V1 tech is going to take the most practice to master between the two, as the timing is much more sensitive and the direction you're launched in isn't always consistent. In terms of mastering the skill, I would recommend spending some time in custom games with bots. The bots can be completely ignored while using the following build on screen to passively slow them down while you practice. Don't forget to equip the bots with no mitherd so you can keep Thanatophobia active throughout the match. I'd also recommend using the Adrenaline Vial and the Shredded Notes to reduce the cooldown of your power as much as possible for maximum usage each match. As for your normal public matches, I'd recommend sticking with whatever build and add-ons you normally use, as your public matches are all about trial and error and learning mid-match. The Snap V1 is very similar to the Walk-Up V1, using essentially the same technique to pull it off. The main difference is the snap movement, typically turning your camera anywhere from 90 to even up to 180 degrees to face the object you want to collide with. Pulling this off can be practiced in the same way as the Walk-Up V1, but requires a little bit more spatial awareness and knowing what objects are to your back and sides. I'd recommend having a higher DPI when trying to pull off the snap, as having a lower DPI can make the movement feel a little clunky and slow. I personally play on 4000 DPI with 50% in-game sensitivity, but anything above 2000 DPI should work out well for you. The Snap V1 can be especially useful at tiles like T&L walls, filler loops, or any high wall structure that requires red stain mind games. And that's the guide. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and for sticking around until the end. I make the odd Blight-tage every now and then, so feel free to give them a watch. and I'll see you guys later.